final piece tonight is another example of thinking this was done for this reason when it's actually done for a whole completely another reason, a bit like the lead paint and the smoking. But if you look back in history, does it not strike you as strange that the people of Earth went from riding horses and reading by candles or kerosene gas lanterns, etc., to our current world of going on trips to the moon, satellites flying around the world, and also being surrounded by every conceivable type of electronic gadget in less than a couple of generations? It makes no sense. From the perspective of history, this is a strange anomaly. When you look at the length of time that other evolutionary learning processes took, nothing like this has ever happened before. So common sense should tell you that there's a missing part to this story, something that would explain this unprecedented jump in not only technical evolution, but also point to interjection and other interference as the reasons why. Back in the 1940s, some decided to add sin to the mix. Sin means knowledge. And a deal was struck on what is known as seed knowledge, SEED. And that was introduced in the early 1940s. And it was stated that a decision was made to take a chance with the people of Earth and provide them with certain seed knowledge that they could use to raise their developmental level to a certain point, where ultimately it was said that they would become an entrance-level advanced civilization and be able to interact with other advanced civilizations from other parts of the physical universe. Now, quite who decided this on our behalf, without getting any feedback from the very people it affects, is largely overlooked, it seems, and is also part of the arrogance that has in some cases been displayed. Now, essentially every technology we enjoy today was derived in some way from this seed knowledge. So representatives came to Earth to deliver the seed knowledge and discuss the potential and future evolution of the people of Earth, which all sounds very good on the face of it, humans being developed, but our shows have shown that there's always a hidden agenda, and so it was. What they don't or won't tell you was that a lot of this knowledge and technology came from previous human-based civilizations like the Rus, and not a potpourri of exotic ET species as we're led to believe. Now, the agreements were made, and that the seed knowledge was stated was not free. And in order to obtain it, the representatives of Earth had to agree that the knowledge was to be used for the benefit of all the peoples of Earth and to promote their positive evolution and development. What could possibly go wrong with that? Well, the Earth representatives were made aware that the seed knowledge did have a potential for abuse. Go figure. And that they were required to promise not to abuse it. And they were also warned that there would be penalties if the knowledge was used in any manner other than the positive and constructive manner they had agreed to. Now, it was explained to the representatives of Earth, which were military, agencies, bloodline families, and governments. In other words, they gave it to the worst elements of our society. I wonder what possibly could go wrong with that. That violations of this agreement would result in punishments and also sanctions, and could possibly make it necessary for the providers of the knowledge to correct their mistake by destroying the planet Earth, in order, they say, to protect the peace of the universe and comply with universal laws. Nice people, not? So they make a decision for us and select their choices to deliver this seed knowledge. But if it goes wrong, we all die. Oops. Because they messed up with their selections. It's a bit like the FDA and the World Horror Organization with the drugs. No accountability. And this is a major problem on this planet as well as outside of here. Just don't think for 1 second these entities are any better or more advanced than we are, because they're not. Fancy technology does not make a species more advanced, but actually less advanced. Because technology is a lazy-based non-development tool. But the distinct lack of accountability, and the same applies with the latest viral BS, climate change. Does it not? If the climate is changing like these clowns are telling you, that is down to those who ran industries that are responsible for causing it, which the bloodline families and their clown minions. So if climate change is real, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Morgans and the Bushes are wholly responsible for that mess. And if it is real, they should pay to fix it. As we know, climate change is another bullshit attempt by them to stay in control. That's what it's all about, staying in control, collecting resources off every country under the UN via the Paris Climate Agreement. Now, part of the seed knowledge was there was prohibitions against nuclear devices, and it was also explained to the Earth representatives as they progressed that nuclear detonations cause disruptions in space-time, which can be detected by any advanced civilization and traced back to their source planet. They are considered bad form and should not be done. So let's ignore the fact that these so-called advanced ETs were the ones responsible for bringing that weaponry here to begin with, which they did. After they destroyed their own planet, Nibiru with it, aeons back. But heaven forbid if the stupid humans rattle all the other planes of existence where these fake gods and goddesses resided. There is a war in the heavens, they say, as above, so below. So the war is here, is what it means. And it appears war on here was not such an issue in the past, but since they became trapped on the planes, suddenly now it's a bigger issue, as war with nuclear weapons here rattles their planes of existence. See how it works? Now, where it went wrong is certain agency-based scientists got interested in the time distortion side effect of nuclear detonation and trying to get the secrets of time. And so they kept blowing up these bombs until they figured it out. And then, having worked it out to a degree, not fully, they then quickly got a world ban on all new explosions in order to keep the others from learning what they knew. This is the clowns in Las Vegas. Yet again, status and dick swinging games again. We have something the others don't. It's utter delusional thinking that America was getting one over on the Russians, and the stupid Russians thinking they're getting or doing things better than the Americans, when the reality is you are both being played in a pass the idiot parcel game where the illusion one won and one lost. No, you both lost. Subsequently, as we know, Earth has not become the global advanced civilization that was intended. In fact, the Earth representatives chose to break all of their agreements and used the seed knowledge to set up a global dictatorship, which is now commonly called the New World Order. All done by the same entities that gave it to them in the first place. They played I'm the chosen one or the leader, whilst the hidden entities played let's harvest everything from them. So a newsflash for the clowns and their minions. The New World Order was not for your benefit. And I will repeat again for the hard of hearing, the New World Order was not for your benefit, it was for theirs. And despite your fake titles of importance, all of you were irrelevant. Oops. Although it is pleasing to see and hear at least some of you are now seeing through the illusion. Now, it is said that if they had kept their agreement, the general population of Earth would not know poverty or disease now, and would be free to travel and visit other advanced civilizations throughout the universe by this point in time. There we go again. There's the classic, here's what you could have won tactic, and guilt and shame tripping exercise, cleverly and deviously enhanced by the religious programming. The point is we produce enough food per year to feed 3 planets, 3 Earth-sized planets, and yet so many starve. That's not an accident. That is a direct policy. And it was stated this was the hope and intent when the seed knowledge was handed over. However, as with any gamble, sometimes you do not get what you want despite your best efforts. That's just more lies. Because the hope was we all failed, and these dark harvesters looted the whole planet and then destroyed it because we were set up to fail. Like they've done to many planets previously, including their own, I might add. And yet we think these entities are better than us. The seed knowledge, as they called it, is now being dispersed in a better way by many people around the world. They're losing the narrative badly on many levels. An example this week of why they threw Prince Andrew to the wolves in this past week. He is the sacrificial lamb to protect higher up the chain. It's how it and they work. But the lords, the kings, queens, the generals, the chosen ones, the bloodlines, the Pindars, the emperors and the empresses, the nobles and the nobility, and every other fake title you were given as a distraction. All of you, and I repeat, all of you, were pawns in their game. Pawns in their game. Oops. Their game no longer exists now. It's gone. And you were all blinded by your own stupidity and self-importance. You look and act like what you've been labelled: clowns. The giant circus production that you all thought you ran, not realising you were the figure of fun under the canopy. A canopy that you built for them. And they sat back in the gallery and laughed at you and subsequently us.